Welcome back to the channel. What we're going to do today then is look at this. This is my Husky 350 and I need to sort things out on it. I need to do filters and oil change and stuff like that because I'm out next week. I'm going to be riding it all week, lucky me, with the Future Terrain guys. What's Future Terrain? That's the Disabled Veterans motorsports team. So there's a motorsports team which is through the Invictus Endeavour Fund, and what they do, they did many moons ago race Dakar and stuff like that, but their ambition now is to race the Morocco Rally next year. So I've got a whole week's training with them, and as much as they're in cars, I'm going to be on the bike so I can sort of flip between cars and move around, and I've got several days training with them, recovery and all that sort of thing. But I need to make sure the Husky's up to scratch, and I was out riding it the other day. I've cleaned it all off, I've got rid of the majority of the mud on it, but I'll need to change the air filter standardly. I have two air filters with me anyway, so I've got one all prepped up, and we'll do a prep on this one, the one that's in there, because I'll have to wash it all out. And it was dusty, it was a bit of a state out there. I was up at Rogers Hill Raceway, it was a brilliant day. However, air filter needs changing. If anybody's astute and looking at this panel and thinking, why is that so scratched to bits as opposed to the rest of the bike, is unfortunately that side panel came off on one of the laps, and about, well, 20 bikes, I say 20 bikes, there wasn't 20 bikes there, but 20 times it got ridden over by other bikes and it got mullered up. So in here, underneath there, these pop out quite easy. He says quite easy. It will come off. There she is. Bosh! That pops off, and I'll come around that side. And here you can see this air filter. Should look nice and clean and blue like that, doesn't it? No, this is what captures all the dust and filth and stuff like that, and actually feeds clean air into the engine. So this needs to come out. There. And you can see it's not super filthy, but I'll clean it all out anyway because I've got a week, so I want a nice clean air filter on it, and then I can have a spare that's all clean, good to go, and I'll take that with the supply wagon. So this pops off like so, and you've got a mesh back, and that's the dirty one. We'll lob that over there, I'll clean that in a sec. And the clean one on. Look at that, this is a spanker, look at that, brand new. Pop this in. I've got my rubber gloves on because this stuff is gummy. It's like it's an oil, so an air filter oil, that when you put it on it's really quite liquidy, but it dries and goes sticky to capture all the dust and stuff. Pop that over. There's two little lugs here which go on those little bits. And as easy as that, that's it. We pop it straight back in there. Two little lugs to locate it, one there, in the corners. The inside one's a bit interesting, didn't it? Where are you? Up in there. There she is. And this one pops in. Like so, and there it is, air filter changed. Easy, eh? However, we've got to clean the other one out. I have this wonderful cake tin, that's a tin, plastic tin, that's a cake thing. This is filter cleaner. So it's like a, I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's like a sort of petroleum, but what I do, it breaks down the oil that's sucked into this. So I drop this into here, soak it in filter cleaner, and then massage it through. A bit of massaging through the air filter, and it's amazing, to be fair. It actually drags all the muck out of the air filter. She's sweet. So I'll give it a good mush up in here. So while I'm doing this, I'll talk to you about what we're going to do with future terrain. Initially, I've got a day with them, just talking to them. We were going to do a full shoot, but the area we've got has been cancelled, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to sort of do it in a car park, which is a bit unfortunate. But I'm going to talk them through all their recovery kit, and I'm going to do a video on it. Actually, I'll do a video on the trip, and probably a bit of me teaching, looking all serious, teaching about winching techniques, all the safety procedures they need to do for that. They've got high lift jacks that they need to know how to use, lots of strops and stuff. They've got a lovely little, what replaces a block and tackle, but it's an aluminium ring that works really well, but we'll do a little thingy on that when I do it that week. But it'll be interesting because they're in cars and they're going to sort out their teams, and of course with them being disabled veterans, you've got people who are minus limbs, disabled, etc. One of the guys, Jason's, in a wheelchair, so they're going to have to work out the teams and who can do what and what works, if you get what I mean. So they'll have to work out, right, okay, if we need to change a wheel, who can do what bit and stuff like that, and they make it work, and it's amazing what they can do. The cars they're using are these Dacia Dusters, which sounds like people go, Dacia Dusters? Really? Well, they did the, what was it called? The something rally. Karcher rally. They did that. That was the first thing they did in them, and when they did it, a lot of people turned up with these Dacias, and everyone's running all sorts of fandango vehicles, you know. They turned up with these Dacias, and people looked at them like, what's them? Totally ignored them. And then they ran out on the first day, and they got a third. On the first day one, they said it was amazing how the dynamic changed in the pits. People coming up, so what are you running in there, you know? I'm really quite interested in them. But they're just stock. They were stock 1.5 litre engines. We've now changed the suspension out, give them a little bit more clearance, more effective suspension, put winches on them, on the stuff, on the expedition cars and stuff like that, and just gradually improving the cars. But they're actually quite capable. You'd be surprised, you know. Okay, it's got most of the guff out of here. In fact, let's see if we can have a look in there, Billy. You can see if I do this without tipping it all out. See all this guff. This is all dirt that's caught in the oil, and when it pulls it all out, this all sits in the bottom. And I filter this out every now and again just to clean it all out. But that's just about clean. I'm going to go rinse this off in some water. So I'll rinse it off in water and then dry it out, and then we're all ready, okay? I'll be back in a minute. Ta-da! Are we on?
Yeah.
Come on. Done. Now, I've just rinsed it out in water. I'm just going to put it out in the sun to dry. So, I need to dry this out before I oil it. Pop it up there.
Great.
And that'll dry out. Put my side back on, panel back on. Next thing I'm going to do is the oil in it. Oil and filters. It's a great thing with these 4-stroke bikes, they will keep going forever if you keep changing the oil in it and keep fresh oil in them. Just look after it and it'll look after you. So, it is on. Might put a zip tie on this because, as I said, that come winging off. I was almost going that fast, it flew off. I was going to write down what I was doing on the t-shirt. You're shaking your head, what t-shirts are for? Right, I'll spin it around because. Oh, in fact, no, we need to look at the oil filter. I'll get you to move around me. How's that, baby?
Yeah, alright.
That makes sense. So first thing I do is take this belly pan off. I love crawling on the floor, it's my favourite. Right, the recycle bottles. Look at that.
Yeah.
Get all this on. Didn't clean underneath it, did I, Bailey?
No.
Boggy with mud right underneath. Ha! I'll give it a good proper clean up. Pop that in there. That's a bigger. Oh, look at his muck. I'll have to do like a video on how to clean your bike, but not like it is like this, like properly. Really, this is not the most interesting bits, is it? There she is. Bosh. Drop that down. I'll get that cleaned off separately. Now you'll notice there's loads of this stuff in here. You're probably thinking, what's he throwing his bike full of foam? Well, what this is big areas here that collect mud. So mud gets stuffed underneath the pan and stuff like that. So actually you can get this foam that you put in there and it stops all the mud just congealing around the end. You can imagine it, right? This was all packed full of mud. That was all packed full. You've probably got about 2 kilos plus of mud in there. So it stops all this happening. Okay, there's my sump plug. But first I'm going to spark her up because I want to warm it up. Okay, you want to get that oil in there nice and fluid, liquidy. So let's warm it up. Okay, that'll do it. Right, so sump plug. Come down here, Bailey, you have to get down. Get on your hands and knees. Sump plug just underneath there. That is what we're going to want to do. Oh, typical, can't spin it. Okay, they won't be that hot, but look at that. I'm just going to get it to one side a little bit. It's pretty nasty. Was the time to do that. Okay. Okay. Next thing we need to do is the oil filter then. I'm going to need an 8mm socket for that. Come around this side. This little piece here. Oh, I'm going to move that drip tray because you are going to get some oil coming out of this. 8mm. Oh mate, I've ripped my glove.
It's all happening.
Do that. Do that. Whatever you do, don't drop the nuts in there. It's like the Sarlacc pit. Remember from like, is it Return of the Jedi? Once it falls down in there, it gets digested over 1,000 years or whatever it is. And you ain't getting it out there. Well, you have to fiddle it all out. Pop them in there. Whoop, there you go. Oh, look at that gunky oil.
Nice.
Defo needed doing. It's a little bit of a fiddly getting these out. I've got a little tool I can get in there. You've got to get in here. There she is. Drop that into there. I'm going to leave that to drain for a little bit actually. Just let it all go completely out before I then put in the new oil filler. Okay?
Yeah. Cool.
I'll be back in a minute. Okay. There is the main drain, which I've just undone, which is 13mm bolt. However, so that's just sat at the back. There's a little magnet on there, so you get pick up any not filings or anything. However, be aware that it doesn't have to come out there a bit quick. And in fact, I've just cleaned up because I did squirt out all over. So you've got that breather, and that is your main plug. I'm just going to stand the bike upright a little bit. So I'm going to change. We'll get rid of these as good as they are. We'll change these out. They're not doing anything, are they? Put my Fandango muck off though. Because these are dog's danglies, these. Okay. Right, I'll stand this up right now. Any more coming out of it? Anything else coming out of that, babe?
No. No, I don't think so.
Pretty good.
The odd drip.
There's a little gauze as well, he says, just underneath this side. I'm going to whip that out. There we go. Actually, just that little tip and then a bit of movement, and it's and more oils come out of it. Let's see what this is like in here. This is a pretty new bike, to be fair. It's a 2020 model, but on a 2019 plate. So they bring the next year's models out in that year. And there we go. That's what we want. We want all that oil out. It's all pretty gammy. And here's the little gauze. That's pretty clear, to be fair. It's still coming out, mate. Loads of it. Put that back in. I'll go for the socket for that. Okay, I'm happy. I've got just about everything out of there. There's still dripping out of there. It's still running. I'll put that one in first. And put a new oil filter in it. So the new oil filter, here we need to soak in a bit of oil. And soak that in oil so it's already got oil inside it, so otherwise when you're putting it in it's going to be dry, it's going to, your oil levels, you'll be mucking around with your oil levels, because then once you start running it's going to soak in through the thing. If it's already wet, the filter, then it's not going to soak up that much oil and you can get your oil levels right. There's my little pliers. Okay, we're going to go back in, mate. Get all my bits prepped up. So there's the cover. And those are my two bolts. Straight in with that. Still got little bits dripping out of it, but not a lot. Sweet. And the last thing is the main sump plug. So we'll pop that back in. And mix that up. Let's put a bit of oil on the floor there. Slip hazard, Bailey, be careful. I'm doing like comedy banana skin slip overs in the shop. Now we've got to fill her up. And the oil is in here. Get a little funnel. Quite a little fancy funnel. My little fancy funnel. These are pretty decent. They MSR doing clean funnel it's called. You can actually keep all the guff out of it. So it's got caps top and bottom. Because everything gets full of guff. Clean this one. I've had this for a long time. Okay, I'll tell you what I will do is just go online and find out exactly how much oil I'm going to put in for a full change with an oil filter. Hang on, be back in a minute. Okay, done online. I've checked how much it takes. It's 1.2 litres. So this little lovely measuring jug here I've got. Oh, that's 500. So 500ml, get me lovely spanky clean funnel out. Have I got the concentration face on?
Yeah. Very. Don't spill a drop.
I've got various faces, that is the concentration face. That's 500ml. Now we need another 500ml. This is riveting stuff, that Billy. This is riveting, mate.
It is. I can't wait to watch this one.
This one's going to be really fun.
This is going to be. People are going to be at the edge of their seats. Will he spill a drop of oil?
In a motorcycle.
Will he dribble some oil on the floor? No, he didn't. Yet. Right, 0.2. Stuff. Right, 1.2. Oh, it's a dribble. It's okay. Sit back down, everybody.
Do you want some tissue?
What, to wipe my brow? Because of the pressure that I'm under. I think I might do, mate.
Have this.
It is literally off the chain. And breathe.
Well done.
Got it in there, mate. Got it in there.
You made that look good anyway.
Okay. Thanks, man. Now, there is a sight glass on the other side. A sight glass? Yeah. That is a little tiny clear panel that we can see where the oil is. So, there it is. And here we can see that we're in there. There's a circle there. And it looks a little bit full, but I'm going to run it up. And let's see. Hang on, make sure that tops are tight. Right, we'll let that settle, and then we'll come and check it. And that will be job done. Okay, if you have a quick look then at the levels, I don't know if you can see that, but my oil level, it's nice and clear oil, and it's just at the very top of that red circle, which means it's bang on. Well done, Titch, you got it right. So that's it, that's the oil and filters changed in the bike, ready for the trip out with future terrain, and I'm looking forward to a good week's riding. I hope you enjoyed that. I don't know whether you enjoy it, I mean it was edge of the seat stuff, but if you did, then please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit.